To be honest, I don't know how to charge this without shooting it.
And I fell. Bounties. But he's dead for right now, so he's gonna leave us alone now.
Alright, well, if I kill you, it's not my fault.
I don't believe that for a minute. Oh, my armistice zone privileges are revoked. No, it looked like I got hit by my own ship when I was getting out of the seat. Another NPC. Yep, he's dead. Oh, no, he ran away. Welcome, everybody. I'm Dark Hour 717, and this is another episode of State of the Verse, our weekly program where we bring you the latest and greatest news from Star Citizen and CIG as they release it through different sources such as Star Citizen Live, Inside Star Citizen, Roadmap Roundup, and all of those resources there. As always, we got J Scale with us. What's going on, man?
Not much. Loving the fall weather.
Oh, yes. It is getting to be about that time. So I actually had to put the hardtop back on the Jeep.
Oh yeah, it was cool this morning. I had to wait several hours before I could actually mow because it was all wet.
Oh, yeah. My dogs didn't want to spend more than 30 minutes outside because they're like, yep, nope. Go back inside where it's warm. As everybody knows, we are getting closer to CitizenCon. That's going to be on October 9th. And just to let everybody out there know, we will be streaming the broadcast of CitizenCon and the different panels, myself and J-Scale, and we'll probably have some visitors from Amarok's Fang and going over whatever information that they do release there. So feel free to join us on that live stream starting at 11 a.m. Eastern time on October 9th. At this point right now, we don't have a definitive schedule. I know they said October 1st for more information on a lot of things. It looks like we got the information for the contest that we're going to go over here shortly, but nothing as far as panel schedule yet.
Yeah, we just have the panels, but we don't have it also says TBD.
Yeah. So, but this week we did get some additional information on some other factors. Of course, Star Citizen Live was a little bit lacking as far as new information. They covered actually the modeling of a cone, and now the traffic cone is my favorite NPC of the entire game. And it's interesting if you're into design and creation of assets and props. Definitely check that out. As far as any new information, really not a whole lot there. But we're going to cover Inside Star Citizen definitely in depth, as well as a number of different things. Starting off with actually a question I asked on the Spectrum page. As you put it, I kind of stirred the pot a little bit and got a little salt for my efforts. Basically, there, and we'll put a link in the description below as to the question I posted about the looting system. We know 315 is going to have looting. We know it's going to be lootable corpses, and you're going to be able to take any of the items, including your pledge armor, your sub flare, and your concierge flare, and take it off the body that you kill and keep it for yourself. I posted the question that, yes, we know there's going to be a kiosk or a store that you're going to be able to recover those items for, but it was never really clearly put out there as to whether or even how much a UEC it may cost you to get that back. They did talk about some future possibility with reputation on certain levels of things, but it was very vague information. I posted the question out there. Right now, it's got about 162 replies. Check it out. There's definitely some interesting ideas in there that people have about it. There's definitely some salt. Just to fair warn you, Spectrum is famous for that. But yeah, stirred the pot a little bit on that one.
Yeah, there was plenty of salt in there. I think a lot of people have seen some of the stuff that that we've talked about in the past with Star Citizen. Inside Star Citizen conversations, Star Citizen Lives conversations with some of the devs. And, they've talked about different things, but there's no definitive answers yet. They've thrown around the idea of having stores, but some people were talking about, when if you're wearing your sub flare, your concierge item, and somebody is in concierge that loots your body, it loses all of its gold. It turns black and white or whatever. There was
Yep.
a bunch of stuff in there, and then others were just angry that this is a money grab. You're going to lose your stuff. You have to go buy it again. Why do I have to buy it? So
Yeah.
personally, until they figure it out, if you don't want to lose it, don't
Don't
use it.
wear it.
Yeah,
I think there was some confusion in some ways because people, like you said, if you lose your stuff, you're gonna have to buy it again. But again, you're not gonna have to pay cash for it again. If you get charged a little bit of AUEC, I'm fine with that. I got killed. I lost my stuff. I gotta. It's kind of like insurance. You pay AUEC to claim your ship if it gets destroyed, and it's sounds like it's going to be kind of a similar system with your sub concierge and pledge items that legitimately you've paid cash for. That's always going to be yours, but it's still lootable. And I'm fine with them charging some AUEC for it. There were actually, along with the responses you mentioned, a lot of people who are upset it's even lootable. They
yeah,
feel that it should be made unlootable, which I don't think it has to go that far because, again, we recoup ships all the time paying AUEC and nobody has an issue with it. And a
yeah.
lot of people talked about putting insurance on it. Well, that's kind of basically what they've done if they charge you AUEC. That's your form of insurance on it. You can get it back. So,
Well, and so far, correct me if I'm wrong, but pretty much everything that we've been able to get, whether it's armor from concierge or subscriber store, all it is a different color, different shape. You can still buy them. Like eventually, you should be able to buy some of this stuff in game. It doesn't give you any enhanced abilities. There's no increased stats on it, so it's not like you've earned some sort of really rare armor that gives you stealth capabilities or something that's beyond what you can buy on the open market. You know what I mean? None of this. It's all flair.
yeah,
Or
it's all cosmetic. Now,
I
there
mean,
are some items that you can't get in game. Fieldberry, bear helmets, paladin helmets, mandible helmets, things like that that were specific for sub or sub store.
yeah,
So
but that just comes down to you dressing up your character is all. I mean,
yeah,
it doesn't give you anything,
and
and the concierge stuff is all just gold plated. So
yeah, and you know what? If I lose my Fieldberry bear helmet, I'll pay a thousand AUEC to get it back. I mean, worst case scenario, if it's not that important to you, just wait until the next patch and your stuff resets.
yeah,
That's all you got to do. I mean, right now they are talking about the future implementation of degradation. So even if somebody takes it from you, they're only going to have it for so long until either somebody takes it from them or it's going to degrade to a point where they're not going to be able to repair it because they're not the legitimate owners and they're not going to have it anyways. But I do expect that we'll probably see, probably at the start of 315, a number of people who are wearing trophies, though who's really going to know what's a trophy and what's not? Because a pirate can be concierge just as much as anybody else, and it's not like we have a tag over our heads that say, Legatus level concierge or wing
space
commander.
whale.
Yeah, exactly. So if somebody's
Well,
wearing the armor, no one knows if they actually stole it or not.
Well, the other thing is, and it's kind of like a vague comment, but was it a Reddit post where somebody was complaining about the fact that it's this year's stuff for the Day of the Vara Halloween
Hmm.
festivities is all the same stuff we've had before. But there was a response from one of the CIG guys that said, there's nothing wrong with having two Hill Horror masks, especially once trading gets online.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so does that mean we'll be able to actually sell this stuff in game? So some of the stuff that we've
Well, we do know
traded.
that lootable items will be eventually sellable in game, whether that be you loot it from a derelict or you find a case somewhere on the surface somewhere, or you loot it off somebody else. Eventually, that will all be sellable at some type of store, and your reputation is going to determine how much you can sell it for and how much you'll make off of it based on who you're selling to.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. I think people again are kind of a level of overreaction, but I mean it's definitely one of those questions I thought would be interesting to throw out there, which brings us to the Spectrum Post and Concierge, which Concierge Spectrum has no less salt than any other Spectrum Post, and sometimes has more. The post in the Spectrum for concierge was that they had made some adjustments to the concierge benefits. Now, this is going to include a free digital download of the PU. Of course, that does not include Squadron 42. And then they were also going to be adding additional buyback tokens for concierge members. So again, concierge is set once you surpass a pledge amount of 1,000 US dollars, and then you get some flair for it. First level is a monocle, a top hat, and a bottle of whiskey for your hanger. And then it goes up from there. So these benefits, there wasn't a date that they announced that they were going to put them in. And I would not expect that we're going to see the buyback token as early as this month. They'll probably start Q1 of 2022. The game pack, I think, could definitely be useful for some. And what we see with that ability is there's a lot of people that get up to that level, they like to shuffle their fleets around. And sometimes they can't shuffle one item because it has the game pack in it. So that kind of handcuffs them a little bit to how much they can move things around. But if they had a digital download of the game by itself, then everything becomes meltable. So I think in regards, some people will benefit from that. It's not an across the board, everybody will benefit. And of course, some people will benefit from the buyback tokens. Again, not everybody will. Now, as I said, sometimes concierge can be a little saltier than the standard Spectrum, but for the most part, most of the responses I saw were actually very appreciative, positive. They felt it was a step in the right direction. Of course, we know they've been working on the concierge benefits for the last year, and they had some different turnover within CIG and kind of had to take a little longer than they anticipated. And of course, they did announce there's more things to come as far as changes in the benefits. This is just the first step. But definitely people unhappy that they don't feel a game pack is enough. They feel they should get more free ships, that they should get free Squadron 42 with game pack, that they should have permanent access to CCU to any ship that they want. Those are all great things if they were to come true, but honestly, CIG doesn't have to do anything. They didn't force anybody into this level of support or this level of backing. We've done so by our own choice. And in my opinion, and tell me if yours is different, J Scale, but if they think that, this is what they want to offer, I'm perfectly appreciative of it because technically they don't have to give me anything. I chose to back that much because I love the game, not because something came free with it, because ultimately it really isn't free. You paid to get to that level. But what's your viewpoint on it?
Pretty much the same. We were talking earlier, and I didn't know anything about concierge when I first started playing the game. I like several people, I found myself in it by accident. I just pledged something, and the next thing I know, I'm getting an email saying, "Hey, welcome to concierge," and I'm like, "I don't. What is concierge again?" And then you find out more, right? You find out that there's a separate forum, there's separate chat, there's all this other stuff going on, and I agree with you. I mean, it's cool to get like, what are the shifts that you can get are the F8C
Yep.
and the gold and gray 600i. Like if you
Mm-hmm.
spend big money. Um, the other thing, when I watch the arguments where these people are like, "We're concierge," fine if that's how you want to be. If you want to be entitled, well, then let's put a ranking system in.
Yeah.
If you're just an admiral, space admiral, whatever the hell they're called, like the lowest level tier, um, then what if you're demanding all of these things because you made it barely into concierge? What about the guys that are like Legatus, the guys that have dropped
Oh,
20, 30 k on the game?
I think
Um,
there's one guy out there. I saw one uh YouTube video where they talked to what they called a whale, and I think he had said that he had pledged over $150,000 on the game.
exactly. So, eh, you know, I get it. $1,000 is a lot of money, but somebody who's dropped, that much money, um, it, I think they might have a little bit more of a case to be a little bit more entitled or demanding.
I would
Um,
say a little bit
just,
more.
but I passed Wing Commander a while ago. It's not I don't have expectations from concierge. I go in there to amuse myself, to watch the people complain about things. Sometimes learn stuff, but most of the time watch people complain.
Yeah,
So
it's nice to see that the majority of them are appreciative of it and giving the developers some credit and all that, and I think it's well deserved. And I'm with you. I'm at the wing commander level myself, and I'm only there because I love the game. I'm not there to try and get free stuff. I mean, I don't even reach out to them and ask them for free stuff for the streams or anything. It's like I just enjoy playing the game. It's my way to unwind and my way to get out of reality for just even a short amount of time. I love making the videos, but they don't owe me anything because it's my own choice to do that. I have no use for a bottle of whiskey. I don't go into the hangar or use hangar decorations, but no, hey, it's nice that it's in there. But like I said, I don't have this feeling that I'm owed. And I think people need to keep that in mind. And they cry about they want free ships. Well, there's free ships there. You're just not at the level to get it yet.
yeah,
So
you're voluntarily handing over money to a company so that they can continue to develop their game.
yeah,
Uh,
you're
I,
not handing it over to be given something free.
you're not an investor.
No,
There's a difference.
very true. We are the backers of the development. That is what it's about. And there's people that actually back this game, and I think I've learned this over the last 2 years I've been playing. But there's people who actually back this game and they don't even play it. I mean, they've put in thousands and thousands of dollars and they've never spent one day in the verse.
Yeah.
So,
A lot of them. Well, I think a lot of them are like me. The idea of what's possible with the game is very enticing.
oh,
I mean,
definitely.
I play it. I just the type of gameplay that is, I'll say, first and foremost right now isn't really the type of gameplay that I'm looking for. So,
Hmm.
but I mean, I still go in. I still have fun, especially when I get together with a group of folks.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yep. So check that out. I'll have a link for that concierge forum. Yeah, I believe even if I put the link in there, you'll have to be a concierge before you can access it. I'm not sure how that works, but I'll put the link in there just in case. Of course, it's October, and we all know what October brings, and that's the Day of Vara festivities. And Jaysco, what are they offering this year?
contest for this year. If you go into Spectrum, I believe the posts are there, plus in the com link on the main RSI page. First contest is the pumpkin carving contest. They're giving away prizes for first, second, third place. First is a caterpillar, second is a buccaneer, third is a cuddy. All come with the ghoulish green paint and LTI. Then there's the Cave Runners contest, which is a timed run in a cave on Hurston. I can't remember where it's at. But again, that's the details are in in Spectrum. Prizes again, first, second, third. Caterpillar, Buccaneer, and a Dragonfly. Again, all with the ghoulish green paint and with LTI.
And that cave is actually Calthro.
Oh,
It's
is it?
out on Hurston. And I can't remember because you participated in our last Amarok Spang event, didn't you? The one with the Save the Pico.
No, I watched it. I wasn't able to make it.
Okay, yeah,
I had a conflict.
that was in Calthro.
Ah,
Now,
okay.
if you go onto the website and look at the specifications, you have to start at a very specific point,
Yep.
and you have to reach a very specific point and kneel down on a specific box. And then you have to obviously have screenshots of all this and then get back out. And more than the screenshots, you also have to have the timed video recording.
Yeah. You have
And
to have a
then
video,
you have to get back out and kneel back down on the same spot that you started from.
which is
Now,
a yellow painted rock.
yeah, now Calthrope, actually, we picked that one for the Pico because it winds around everywhere.
It's a maze.
It is. So once you get inside, there's actually portions where you actually have to get down on your belly and even crawl beyond what you think it goes to get to the very back of it. So this is not going to be an easy contest.
No, and neither was it Fleet Week when they had the timed run for the Avenger Titan
Oh yeah, around
on New
the
Babbage.
train tracks. Yeah,
Yeah, that one was a headache.
I didn't even try it. I am
Uh,
not
I
that good of a pilot.
I wasn't gonna enter the contest. I just figured I'd see how hard it was, and I gave up.
I tried once. I went into the first piling and I never tried again.
Exactly. I didn't hit a piling. I couldn't weave that fast. But
Yeah.
yeah,
So, I mean, I can definitely see why this warrants the prizes that they're giving on that with the Caterpillar. Then that's the actual ships in game. So that's a hell of a good prize to have for that. So that'll be
yeah,
interesting to see because they'll usually post people's runs so that you can take a look at it after they pick the winner.
yep. Let's see. Pledge Store. They've added the ghoulish green paints for the Caterpillar, Buccaneer, Cuddy Black, and the Dragonfly. I think before it was only available for the Cuddy.
Yes.
Um, this time around, I think people are able to put it on the Cuddy if you buy it now.
Hmm.
But since it's not in the game yet for the other three ships, the Caterpillar, the Buccaneer, and the Dragonfly, there's a side note that said that those will be in game come 315.
Yep. I got it
So
from my Cuddy and I have it on there all the time.
the Fieldsbury Dark Bear helmets are back. All six, is it six flavors?
6
Um,
flavors, all with googly eyes,
yep. They added the Buccaneer back to the store for this, so that you can buy the Buccaneer, the Cuddy.
as
You know,
well as
basically,
the Caterpillar too.
yeah, all four ships you can buy back. You can not buy back. You can buy as separate ships or as packages with the ghoulish green paint.
Yep.
You can also CCU, I believe, to the Caterpillar. That was added in for this go round as well.
Yes, you can CCU to the Caterpillar or the Buccaneer, but not with the ghoulish green paint. If you CCU to any of the ships, the paint has to be purchased separately from the RSI site.
Well, yeah, with the money that you save from the CCU.
Yeah, I mean it's $7 for. I think I paid $7 for the one on the Buccaneer because I CCU to that today, and I think the Caterpillar is about $11. So yeah, you'll be able to get that if you CCU up to it. If you got a ship you want to move to one of those, definitely Caterpillar is definitely a great ship to move up to if you got something that you're not using much.
And moving on, events. Hill horror helmet, the scarecrow helmet, is back again. This time, if you visit Jumptown, which is on Yella or Yela, if you're Jared, you must go inside the building, and then this is the confusing part. They specified that there's no indication that you actually unlocked the helmet in game.
Correct.
They will be awarded on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Which is the
Uh,
way it was before. You had no notification that you completed it.
But did you have to go on a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, or could you go anytime?
No, no, they put in people's hangars on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Got
You
it.
don't have
There
to
you go.
go to Yella on those days. You can go anytime you want, but
Got it.
it'll only show up in your hangar on those 3 days.
Okay. The last thing for the store. Sorry, I skipped over this one. The price of the Caterpillar they announced is going up as of IAE. So current price on a Caterpillar, if you buy it outright, is $295
Yep.
from the pledge store. This At the end of this month, it'll be coming back off the store, and it won't be back on until IAE, and it'll be going up. They didn't say to what yet,
Yeah.
but their explanation was that they feel the price is not at the same level of value that the Caterpillar actually provides.
Yeah, and of course, anybody that has access to the Pirate Caterpillar, you'll still continue to have that access until the price increase at the current 295. At least from what I've seen, I got to anticipate they're not going to raise that more than $50. I would hope.
Yeah, I hope not. I was trying to remember what the Crusader went for.
Crusader right now
Sorry,
is
the Hercules,
400.
the C2.
Yeah, C2 is 400 right now.
Okay.
It
Oof.
originally started at 360, and then they moved it up to 400 once it released.
Got it. Okay. So, well, maybe we'll be closer to 360.
Yeah. Hopefully it won't be much more than that, because I mean, at that point, you kind of start questioning. If they get it too close to the C2 price, they could be shooting themselves in the foot. But then again, if people just jump up to the C2, then they're kind of making out. So who knows? We'll
And
see.
the Caterpillar's been in game for a very long time too.
Oh yeah, and it's definitely a fan favorite. That's for sure. I have a C2, and I'm still contemplating whether I want to make mine permanent or not. So
I'm I'm holding on to both the C2 and the Caterpillar. Just the modularity of the Caterpillar, I'm interested in.
Yeah, the tractor beam and all that. And right now I've got a couple of caterpillars that are loners, so it's something I'm gonna have to make my decision before IAE because I do have access to the pirate one, which if I get one, I'll probably do that. But if I want to do it just cheaply, then I'll CCU something like my Cuddy Blue or something like that to it. But yeah, make your moves before IAE because at that point, right now it's unknown how much more money it's going to be. I would anticipate you got to consider at least $50. All right, so that brings us to CitizenCon 2951, and we know that that's going to be on the 9th of October, 3 p.m. UTC time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 8 a.m. Pacific time. Of course, we discussed that, myself, Jay Scale, we're going to be streaming the broadcast of CitizenCon with discussions on the different panels. Definitely would love to hear from you guys in the chat as we're viewing that. May have some guests from Amarok's Fang join us as well, too. And of course, they announced some details on these contests. Tales of Star System Past, that is their story contest. The prize is going to be the Toby Eye Tracker. And the story's got to be submitted by 11 October at 12 p.m. or 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. So we have information on what these tales are supposed to be.
Um, they're basically stories about you playing Star Citizen with your pals. Just stories about whatever that are Star Citizen based. There's a limit of how many characters it needs to be. They're gonna I guess grade or judge on storytelling, prose and all that stuff, creativity, whatnot. But basically, it's just stories about playing in the verse.
Ah, never a bad thing. I'm sure there's some interesting ones out there for certain. And of course, we got the Watch Party Prize, which is throwing the best Star Citizen CitizenCon Watch Party. Going to be a prize of a custom Xeno Threat themed Astro Gaming headset, and I gotta admit, I like how that thing looks.
I know I want one.
I don't know. Did they say whether they're going to be available for outside purchase, or is this a one of a kind thing, or do you think they might see this actually make its way onto the RSI store?
I wish it would, but wouldn't it lessen the prize if they did?
I mean, it could, but you could definitely do a different lighting variant, maybe for the non watch party prize, or maybe a different color combination.
True. I like the orange though. That looks
The
really cool.
orange looks damn good.
Yeah, and this one they're judging on, it can be a Discord thing, it can be whatever you want it to be, but they're encouraging people to have, Star Citizen themed snacks, party favors, costumes, whatever.
Yeah, and definitely seeing some of the costumes from the passes and cons. Some people have some amazing freaking costumes out there.
Yep.
So keep an eye out for that because I'm sure they'll post the winners and the entrants on the RSI site after they pick the winner on that, as they always do with all their contests. And what you got for a Galactopedia update?
There was a ton of stuff on planets, which is interesting if you want to go in and look at them. It lists out where MISC headquarters is and a number of different things. It's interesting I guess if you're astronomy nerd, a fictitious astronomy nerd. The thing I forgot to mention up above with the Day of the Varro stuff,
Yeah.
there was a lore post that goes with the Halloween Vara
Oh, yeah. The
festivities.
the history of the Day of the Vara.
Yeah, it gives you the background of the Vara, which was an exploration ship that disappeared while it was exploring. I forgot what system it is now. I'm completely drawing a blank on the name of the star system, but the star system eventually became habited, or inhabited. And so they basically the stories range from basically ghost ships, from random ghosts appearing on your ship as you're flying through there. So it's an interesting story if you're into lore. Talking about how people don't fly in that system or try not to fly in that system on the day of the Varo. The day of the Varo was lost,
Mm-hmm.
which is October 27th. And then there are other stories around how the costuming started, whereas somebody dressed up as a member of the Vara crew on the day And I think it was meant to be a jab at the messers, but the messers saw it as something else, and so they encouraged it, and so it actually took off.
Yeah.
That's a
Interesting.
summary of it.
All right. So definitely check out the Galactopedia if you're into the lore. Unfortunately, I have to admit I'm not well versed in the lore, so JScale's the proper expert to tell you about that. But that brings us into the Inside Star Citizen, and I was drooling watching this. The first 5 minutes I watched over and over and
Yep.
over again, and I even made a video out of it because I am in love with my A2. They did highlights on the A2 and the bombing, basically what you would consider tier zero or first iteration, followed by a 315 patch report. And I was just glued to the bombing. The bombing looks amazing. Definitely check out that video. I'll have a link in the description below for the bombing video I did off of what they had as far as information. And you got a good point here. It is trying to spice up the ground battles. We know ground battles are not a huge thing in the verse right now. Of course, Jumptown 2 is going to be coming, which a portion of that's going to definitely be ground based. And I definitely see this being something that's going to be introduced to that. And watching the Inside Star Citizen, I will say that the UI, I was impressed with how simple, easy, and clean the UI was. You've got the ability to make a reference marker set by the pilot. You've got the red marker where your bomb's actually going to hit if you drop it right then and there. You line the two of them up going off the information the UI gives you. Drop it, you're done, bombs away, you're out of there. And it looked like it's going to be very simple. But we also know that they don't like to leave things the way they are. So I think we'll probably see this get a little bit more complicated as time goes on because we know they're going to move the bomb controls to the bombardier seat. It's going to be operating through a underneath looking camera. My big thing, and I brought this up in the video, was if they move that into that bombardier seat, what are the chances if, say, you or I are a solo pilot, that they're still going to keep that option for the pilot if he's by himself to activate the bomb operator mode and still release bombs if there's nobody else on board the ship?
That's actually a question I'm seeing pop up a lot. I had the same question. I like the idea of the bombardier. And I think they even said in the video it was kind of they're trying to expand that multi-role, multi-role gameplay
Oh,
on the
yeah.
ship. So, but I'll say one of the negatives that somebody pointed out on the pilot controlled bombing is that it looks like you're nosing down at your target the whole time, like a torpedo bomber from World War II, right? Where they would kind of dive down at the ship before they release their bomb or their torpedo, and then they would break off or just continue on in and ran the ship too.
Yeah, and I
Um,
got that impression too from the video because they are very nose down in that to get the two circles to line up. Though I would imagine if you go to a underneath facing camera with a bombardier, then that's going to level it out.
yeah, you'd have more of a bomb type, a traditional
Yeah.
bomber flying level and dropping it.
But there's also that possibility we know with going into quantum that there are times you get the quantum markers for different points in the sky below your visible windshield. Will they have that UI be able to overlay your instrument panel so that you can still see it at a level flight?
Oh, we'll be testing this out.
Oh, absolutely. I like I said in the video, one of my big things I want to be on the ground and get a face full of Moab and see what it looks like from the receiving end. So
Oh,
we'll definitely be testing that out many different ways.
well, I want to see if I can ride one down like they did in the video.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're not going to be able to do that, but it would be beautiful if we could. And of course, they noted that if anybody noticed in the videos, they did talk about the NPC ground stations having turrets, which we know they do right now. But it looks like we are now going to have more missile turrets on these stations, which is going to give us a need to use the A2. And I think it's going to be, I mean, taking a hammerhead or a harbinger in there, popping off a couple missiles, taking out some gun turrets, good, works fine. You just don't get the enjoyment of a 12,000 meter high altitude bomb drop to take those turrets out that you would with the A2. Um, I think that's interesting that we're going to be seeing those. And of course, that brings us to the Moab, or mother of all bombs, of course. It has a blast radius that see that shot. I looked like it was a reclamation and disposal, but it pretty much covered the entire area.
Yeah.
So I mean, that thing's a size 10 bomb. So
They took out a parked Carrack with it.
yep, and we know how tough the carrot can be, and we know that there's also in original concept a cluster bomb setup that's going to eventually be there for the A2. Right now, we're only seeing the Moab. The cluster bomb will apparently somewhere down the line be replacing or be something you can replace the Moab with and have, I think they said it's something like a cluster of 100 smaller bombs that does just as bad as damage. So I'm definitely looking forward to the future iterations of this when they bring those things in. And it's going to be one or the other, though. You're either going to do cluster or you're going to do Moab.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember. There were numbers in the release documentation for the C2, A2, M2, where they one of their like the brochure, like the sales
Mm-hmm.
brochure for it, where they kind of listed out like the C2 will be able to carry 2 tonks, 5,000
Yep.
cyclones, whatever. It showed the bombing configurations, and I was trying to remember like the smaller bombs. I think it was 30 per rack, and then it didn't go into specifics like if it's a cluster bomb, right? You have a larger bomb that falls and then bursts open.
Yeah, no, it's actually the way that they had because in the video I put the original concept art in it, is where you have the Moabs now, it's actually two racks with multiple smaller bombs in it. The rack just leans forward and the smaller bombs just slide out, and there's like 50 per side.
Yeah,
So it's going to be like those rapid bombing runs that you see from World War II, where it's just one after another over and over again, and just litters a line down the surface of the moon or planet of explosions. And that's what I want to see.
carpet bombing.
Yes, carpet bombing. I think Moab will cover me for right now. It'll at least settle my taste for destruction for the time being, though.
Oh yeah.
Now, they did mention they wanted to stay away from the guided bomb thing, kind of, keep it more traditional, but yet still have some high tech targeting and appeal to it, which I don't blame them. I actually kind of prefer this route over a point and click, drop the bomb using a guided system. It makes it more fun for me, and it makes you have to have some different skills than you would with just a point and click.
Well, otherwise it'd just be it'd be a size 10 torpedo,
Yeah,
right? I
pretty
mean,
much.
yeah, I'm glad that it's not a guided munition, just for that very reason, right? I think it would be OP at that point, especially if it's a size 10.
Yeah, I mean, we already know what size 9 torpedoes can do, and I really am in love with this bombing setup that they come up with. I think it's only going to get better, and I think in the way that it's set up right now, I'm going to be spending some time in Klesher. So,
We're all going to be there.
can I drop it on Area 18?
Oh, I've been
Because if
wondering
you're up
myself.
high enough, you're out of armistice. If you're up high enough,
Yeah, but you gotta get way up.
yeah, but Area 18's got like 100,000 meter atmosphere.
Yeah. Well,
Just drop it from way up there and see if you can just nail Arcor Plaza.
my guess is it'll just like
It'll
when we drop
glitch
the
out.
we drop the buggies and things like that. It's just gonna bounce off a building or something,
Yep.
disappear.
And also, you mentioned they'll eventually move the bombs to a dedicated bomber station, like we talked about with the Bombardier seat. And the bomb damage is just so beautiful. Watching that explosion and that kind of shot they had of the sun in the background with the A2 just lifting up and dropping bombs, it just screams Apocalypse Now with the
Yeah,
Flight of the Valkyries coming in.
yeah, that's all they
I
were missing.
I was drooling. That is for sure. And actually, you brought up a good question, and I think on my video there, a couple people posted the same question on about defense against these things.
We're gonna be able to shoot them out of the sky. They move
That
slow.
that
They're
would
big,
be well. I mean, they're moving with gravity,
but they
so
don't fall super fast.
no, they don't because it's got those wings that pop out. But I would imagine on a low gravity moon, it's going to fall even
Oh,
slower.
yeah.
So will they be, shootable with a tonk? And what kind of explosion are you going to get, or blast radius, or damage you'll get if you shoot it out of the sky? So we're gonna have to test that. I think we're definitely gonna have to get a tonk on the ground and test it in different gravitational atmospheres and see what happens.
Daymar, here we come.
Exactly. All right, and of course, after my nerd porn with the A2 and the bombing, that brought us to the rest of the patch report. Which why don't you take us into that, Chase Cal?
All right, so the Alpha 315 patch report. Jared just kind of rattled everything off. Kind of, it's a big letdown for the most part. No, there wasn't a lot of new information. Starting with, starting this patch is the biggest step toward realizing death of a spaceman. Healing tier 0, the big thing, bringing down states. People are going to have new injury states, broken arm, broken leg, and treatment options. Of course, the hospitals. Um, Inventory revamp. You're gonna have the local, the vehicle, the personal, and the external storage areas. Brings they're really trying to bring a new level of tactical decision making when you're figuring out what you're going to do. Like, what do you have to, what are you going to bring with you, right? Because you're going to have limited storage, and then whatever you bring with you is what's with you. Knickknacks is the new MobiGlass app. The the storage that the storage that you interact with is going to be through the inner thought system, and then knickknacks is going to be through MobiGlass, and that basically will be a library or a manifest of where all your stuff is. So if you've lost your Hill Horror mask, you don't know where you left it, you open up knickknacks and go searching. Then loot generation will also be in this, so we'll be finding loot crates, looting dead bodies, etc. I assume this is also being able to sell the stuff, because otherwise people are going to get annoyed.
Yeah, and I
Um,
haven't seen anything in leaks or anything like that about selling it yet either.
no, I haven't either. I have not seen any posts from CIG either. So, because if we have limited storage space and you're out
Yeah.
there looting, you're gonna have a bunch of junk. New infiltrate and defend missions. They haven't. They keep mentioning this, but this is the first time I've heard them go a little bit more deeper into these things. New tactical goal mission requirements. So there may be a mission where you have to avoid all security to get to the objective and win, or satisfy the objective of the mission. Attacking defenders won't be allowed to kill
Mm-hmm.
anybody. So maybe non-lethal take somebody down, but don't kill them. And then there's Jared referenced the classic defense, like repel all waves or prevent destruction of an item or a person.
Yeah.
So like your classic, what do you call it? Escort mission, I guess, with
Yeah.
a person.
And
So
this actually sounds exciting to me because
yeah,
this introduces so many different ways to do different missions, whether it comes to the bunkers and things like that. And for the most part, some of these things have been very popular features in other AAA games,
yeah,
with avoiding security, using stealth, the no kill scenario, classic, system with just wave after wave after wave that you have to just last however long you can last. And of course, we've all done escort missions in some game or other, whether it be Resident Evil or something along those lines. And this is going to add a whole new flavor into the available things to do within the verse. So it'll be also interesting to see what they price these at as far as AUEC rewards too.
true, true. The thing I don't like about escort missions, especially when you're escorting an NPC, is the AI running the NPC is always dumb.
Oh,
Like,
it's a box of rocks.
yeah, and
I'm
so it makes it 10 times harder than it would be for real. Like,
It does. You tell they're supposed to stick close to you or behind you while you're working your way out, and they want to run and hug the guy trying to shoot you off to the right side like it's a lost puppy dog.
yeah,
I
or they're
mean,
stopping to check out something behind you, and you're like, where'd you go?
oh
Hello?
yeah. I mean the NPCs and escort missions are just these are people that in real life would not last 5 seconds outside of cornfield because they would decide to lick a, you know, electrical socket, or they would think it'd be smart to, taste battery acid,
Yeah.
just to see if it's spicy. It's, it can be tough. So we'll have, and we know that the AI in Star Citizen is not exactly on the Mensa scale here. So
Yeah.
are we
It's
going to
getting
see T-pose escort missions where they're
there.
just
Oh,
going to want T-pose in a chair?
yeah.
Hopefully, they might implement a way that you could just, throw them over your shoulder and run them out of there with one arm still shooting. But
Knock them out.
yeah, knock them out. You would almost be better dragging somebody out than some things that even just AAA titles have with escort missions. So it'll be interesting to see though, but it definitely adds a lot of flavor to what we currently have.
Yeah, and it gives us more things to do on the ground rather than
Oh yeah.
flying around. So, all right, ships. We already talked about the Hurricane 2 coming.
Yep.
It's the only ship that's coming with 315 out of the gate.
Yep.
Uh,
This is where you're
Ares
going to
and
make people cry.
Ares and Redeemer are coming later in 315, making their debut at IAE 2951, which is in November. So they're holding these guys back, and they will be available at IAE.
Yeah,
So,
and just because again, this is one of those things where I'm sure if we go to Spectrum right now, we're going to see a ton of salt. Definitely, I didn't even do a video on it, and people are bringing it up in our Discord as well as the YouTube and all that stuff. I think people have lost sight of one key thing here. All right, and it was back at like, I want to say it was like back at 310 or just after 310. For almost the whole last year, they have made it very clear, and they made it clear on previous releases at different patches. The MSR, they made it clear at that time as well too. A ship slated, say, for 315. Obviously, us being the backers, we're all going to get our hopes up. It's going to be 315, and we all fear delays, postponements, pushbacks, pull it from the roadmap altogether. But they made it very clear that when they say 315, that can mean anywhere between 315 and 316. And that includes anywhere in any of the X patches in between. So I think in regards to this, they're still on time. They haven't technically delayed anything. They just didn't set a date in stone up until this point. Now, 315.1, or 315X will probably be IAE, and we'll see it there, which means that they're still on time, still just as they quoted it and all that. And I think with what we've seen in the different videos over the last couple of weeks, they're there. They're close to being in game as it is. But I can't say it's been pushed back, it's been delayed, or it's been postponed. I think they could have done better with maybe letting people know sooner. And when we're this close with Arya and Avakati and all that, putting the news out here gives people more sour taste than if they had more notice. But I can't side with the people that are pissed off about this.
well, I think they purposely wait just to so that they have less time to deal with assault.
Mm-hmm.
Because at 313 released without the Hercules and the Tonk.
Right.
Those were the two people were like, "Where's my Tonk? Where's my Hercules?"
Yep.
And they said beforehand, it will not be in 313 dot whatever the very first release of 313.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming in a dot release,
Yeah.
and it did. It
Yeah.
came with Fleet Week, but so this is no different, and
Yeah.
it's 315 until 316 drops.
Yeah.
So anytime before 316 drops, they still hit 315. So
Exactly. And definitely I've seen, at least personally myself, I'm never playing this game again. I'm not going to play till IAE. How could they do this to me? They haven't
yep,
done anything.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
still on time.
yeah,
It's just not when you want it, or it's not just because you didn't realize, and some of these are probably new backers that weren't around when they were making this big point that patch means 315 to 316, anywhere in between there. But I know that they've at least repeated it, like you said, with the Herc and the Tonk situation. They've repeated it back then. And I'm sure after this situation, they'll repeat it again here too. But for those that have been around long enough, it should be well known that that's the case here. And people that have been in the game for a while, I don't think they need to be getting as upset with this as they are because it's still on time.
And it gives us more time to play with the A2 without distractions.
Oh, absolutely, because I wouldn't know what the hell to fly if I had all three at once.
Exactly.
Oh my
Conundrum.
god.
First world problem.
Can
Uh,
I take the Ares, park it inside the A2, and then take the Redeemer and maybe a tow rope behind it? I don't know.
uh, well, Jared did say that we're gonna hear more about the Redeemer and the Ares as we get closer to their release. So we'll know. We'll hear
Oh
more. We'll
yeah.
see them again. So
I
we'll get to see more. We'll get to see whether or not hopefully the Redeemer what was it the punk steam engine effect is
oh
still in.
god, not the breathing thing. Don't put the breathing thing in there, please. My god, it looks like some weird steampunk porn.
It does.
So, but I would imagine we're probably going to see as we get closer to IAE, probably some inside Star Citizens or Star Citizen Live specifically about these vehicles. I'm really hoping we get a Whitley's guide at IAE on at least one of them, if not both.
I'd expect it. I'd expect both the Redeemer and the Ares.
I want to see Jax McCleary with an Inferno flying around Orison, accidentally taking down a cargo ship.
Yeah.
How very
Well,
Jeremy Clarkson of him.
well, there's also the CitizenCon coming, and they are going to talk about ships that have been in the works for a while. So
Yep.
there may
So
be other things to distract us. We don't know.
yep, very true. I mean, right now I'm saving anything else I'm doing until after Star Citizen. So the next week's gonna be tough for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. All right. Going on. 315 patch. Arena Commander. The Broken Moon map's coming. They did a makeover to include some of the new tech that's now available that wasn't available when they created it. The map is larger, more diverse. They swapped out the scoreboard. It's no longer Flash. They're using the building blocks. So I've seen a couple of videos now where people are like, "That's great, but what does it look like?"
Yeah,
They've not shown any teaser video of what the new scoreboard looks like. But it's supposed to be faster, it's supposed to be real time to give you more real time updates as to where you are rather than the buggy delayed stuff that we had before.
right. Which is the same thing they're doing with the ASOP.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
Yeah,
God,
and
that
we know
ASOP
that
is
they didn't
awful.
change the look on that either.
No, not for. But hey, if it works better than it does now, yay, let's
Yeah.
do it. New locations. So Orison version 2 is coming. That's the Crusader showroom. It'll be your one-stop shop for the you can where it sounds like we'll be able to buy Crusader ships directly from there.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that'll be the only place. I wonder if was it the new deal will get them, or whether you just have to go there if you want to buy one in game.
Right.
Cousin Crows. Cousin Crows is an enigma. There's a lot of discussion going on around Cousin Crows. It's your customize your ship shop, where you're going to be able to get components, liveries, because apparently we don't like paint or skin anymore. But they're gonna have more on this as we get closer to the release of 315. My question that I put out there that a lot of people are discussing is, are we going to have to take our ships there now to get components and weapons loaded out rather than using the vehicle manager app that we have now in our MobiGlass? So no more instant swaps. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, because what does that do with like places like Omega Pro where you buy them? Do you buy them and then haul them out there, or do you buy them
It,
there and fit them there?
yeah, and in 315, they're not going to make those changes because they don't have the vehicle manager stuff
Yeah.
sorted out yet. But it's just one of those things that people are, everybody worries about what this means. What will this mean for the future?
Yeah.
I've seen stuff where they said that you're going to have to take your ships in if you want to swap modules. So like your Retaliator or your Carrack or the Endeavor. But
Caterpillar.
again, we're so far away from that stuff right now that nobody knows how it's going to work.
Right.
Hospitals and space clinics, the new hospital in Orison, New Babbage, and Grim Hex clinics are all coming in. And then said clinics on select stations. I thought before they said clinics on basically all the space stations, but I'm wondering if it's just the major stations maybe, or some of the rest stops.
The impression I got, because obviously we have all the Lagrange points. You got Bigini, you got Port Olisar, you got Everest Harbor and Tressler. the way I took it, the way that they said that, I was anticipating that it was going to be those major city port stations. So your Bygenie, your Everest, your Tressler, and your Lagrange stations would probably come later down the road. I mean, just logic says to get down to 4 versus 10, probably a little bit easier to start with those 4. They're major traveling points. The areas themselves are extremely well fleshed out because they're always visited and they're always getting revamped whenever they need it. So they get a little more attention than the Lagrange stations do. So I anticipate it's going to be those 4 major ones first.
Yeah, and that's what I was wondering, just but by the way they were wording it. The other thing with the hospitals coming in is at the major landing zones, well, at least at New Babbage and Orison, possibly no, Grimhex doesn't get it. Grimhex has the outside pull up in vacuum emergency entrance, but you're gonna have the what do you call it? The meat vending machine where you can drop off an injured person from the hangar. You just take them over to the side of the hangar. There's going to be a medical elevator where you can dump them.
Yep.
So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, and one thing that I will say I've noticed in patch notes, and I'm not going to go too in depth over patch notes here because a lot of it's not confirmed. But one thing that has been consistent in the patch notes right now is setting your home spawn on first login. And if you pick something like New Babbage or you pick something like Lorville, you're fine. You can actually get in, spawn everything you want, ground vehicles and all that. But what they're running into right now in the Evocity build is people that set their spawn point on Orison or Grim Hex. Uh, they can't spawn vehicles in. They go anywhere and their ground vehicles aren't there. So that's one problem that they're definitely running into, those non-surface oriented spawn points.
Oh,
So it's something to keep an eye on as we go through Evocity and we get into wave 1 here, hopefully in the next week or two. And that seems to be something that's very consistent on those patch notes. So I give it a little bit more, you know, belief that it's definitely something that's happening.
well, that goes with the known issue of missing elevators at space stations and ground stations, which I keep finding them.
Yeah, I think that's been going since like 1.1.
Yeah, but I've noticed like what today past
Yeah.
couple days when I've gotten in when there's no elevator there, there's a checkered kind of square box along the floor.
Oh,
Like
really?
you have the vastness, the deep darkness, like just a cavern there where there's nothing, but now there's like a I don't know, like a grid
Huh.
box that's there. It's really weird looking.
Yeah, I've
I didn't
never
take a
seen the
screenshot. I
grid.
should have. Yeah, I've noticed it. It's popping up now instead of having no elevators. Or New Babbage, when you go up to the spaceport, I walked into that little elevator area where there's like 6 or 7 elevators.
Yep.
There were none. They were all just black, blank holes.
Yeah, at that point, you just gotta go to the outer vehicle spawn point and drive over to the station.
Or I just topped servers.
Yeah, you could do that too. Usually that does take care of it though.
Yeah.
Final thing, reminder for everybody, the wipe is coming. With 315, you are gonna lose all your crap. So if it's not pledged, it will go bye-bye.
Fall cleaning instead of spring cleaning.
Yes, but I mean again,
Well, if you're in the
it's
northern hemisphere.
yeah. I mean, again, it's one of those things that, in the video I did on it, most responses were extremely positive about this. There were a couple of, angry people mixed in there, which obviously everybody's entitled to a different opinion. I respect everybody's opinion. But keep in mind, 18 months without a wipe when they said originally it was going to be a quarterly thing. They've definitely done their part in making it what they promised and beyond. And of course, a lot of people still have the attitude that this is a money grab. I think if they were doing the money grab thing, they would have stuck to the quarterly. I think the fact that they went this long as they did, is definitely needed now. I think it was needed over 6 months ago. And we would have benefited back then from it. And I think you probably wouldn't have seen any difference between the people that are actually happy about it now 6 months ago. But you will lose all your stuff. Any in-game purchase stuff, your AUEC, you're going to lose. Your reputation, you're going to lose. All your in-game purchase ships, you're going to lose. I'm probably going to lose half my ships. So it's going to give me that ability. And this, I kind of, when I got everything I wanted in game, I was excited. I didn't know what to use or when, but 2 weeks later, it's like I got everything in game. I mean, really, what am I doing? And having that goal to strive for, that ship you want to buy or that armor set that you want to obtain, it really makes the game much more enjoyable than after you have everything. You're kind of just left with nothing left to shoot for.
Well, I think as long as there's some new game play or expanded gameplay loops to earn it back, I think that's part of it too. Is some people aren't looking forward to grinding bounties again to get their money back.
Yeah, and that's where they're the argument is with the starter packs trying to make money, when they have 5,000 AUEC or 6,000, whatever they have starting out. Oh, a Mustang can't make money. Yeah, a Mustang can make money. You could start out with a few certifications. A Mustang can absolutely get past all the certifications, with the exception of the suspect apprehension, and it can move into the LVRTs and the LRTs. Do enough of that, get yourself a rocking game. Once you have that rocking game, then maybe just stick close around 141 or something like that and get some quick loads. Then work your way up to getting a Cuddy Black in game. Once you have the Cuddy Black in game, put the rock in that, you got a much more wider area to mine with that rock. And we all know that you take a rock out, spend a couple hours, you could easily, 150, 200,000 off a hat night. So the possibility is there. You also got package deliveries you can do there easy. You got the Gundo mission that's easy. Gundo is non-confrontational. You fly in, you find one computer, you submit it, 8 grand, wait 10 minutes, repeat. It's there. It's just people are so hyper focused on one route that they're not expanding the opportunities that they have doing different things.
Min maxers.
What's that? Yeah, exactly. Min maxers. But I mean, they have the tools there. They have the jobs to get you to a point where you can. I mean, hell, a rock's what, 55,000 in game, something like that.
Yeah, it's not super expensive.
No, I mean you can easily get that within an hour of an hour to an hour and a half of just doing some simple bounties, some package deliveries. Hell, 5 package deliveries is going to give you 40,000. So it's very kind of a closed-minded way to look at it, and I think that if people just keep an open mind, they'll see that anybody can progress. All right, so that pretty much sums it up for the week. You got anything else to add in there, Jsco?
No, I think we talked a lot longer than we thought we were going to on such a light week.
Want to thank everybody for joining us this week. Don't forget to also check out CitizenCon October 9th, or check out our live stream of the broadcast of CitizenCon. Throw us your questions in the chat. It'll be on Twitch as well as YouTube. And myself and Jscale and some possible guests from Amarok's Fang, or maybe we'll see if maybe some guys from AMR want to join us for some of the panels. That's going to be 11 a.m. Eastern time on October 9th. We'll probably start the stream about 30 minutes before, just to make sure everything is up and running and get some preemptive or pre-event commentary in, and then go from there. And hopefully you guys found everything informative. This got you all the information for the week. Look for State of the Verse every Sunday. And hopefully you guys enjoy. Hit that like and subscribe. I want to thank Jscale for helping out, and as always, helping out with great notes and everything. Hopefully you'll enjoy a nice Sunday to yourself there, Jscale, and enjoy some downtime. But other than that, we will catch you next time.
See ya.
What, no poodles this week?